Get 120 miles the gallon.
I guess.
I don't know, man.
I don't think a scooter is the best option, but
no, you still want to have a little fun around town and stuff, you know.
Well, here,
Some bitches are fun.
let's
You put on
actually
a
read
beret
the
and put some
question.
French bread under your arm, you're in business.
Let me read the question for the actual.
What do you have
recording.
against French bread, man?
Nothing. I'm just saying. I'll put an ascot on and
Hey,
in a beret, and I'll head out on the scooter. Just call me fucking
Antoine. We're going to call you Antoine.
Yeah.
Two said Percy.
Was that what, Ryan? Did you say Percy also?
Mm-hmm.
Antoine.
I said Pierre.
So what was the question about the bike we were talking about? Is it a scooter?
No.
Oh, the Honda. There's an automatic Honda Cub now.
Yeah, the Super Cub.
Yeah.
I just looked it up. I don't know.
That's more of a
motherfucker's got a basket on it. Come on, what's more utility?
Oh, the picture I see does not have a basket.
You could get that Trail 125 and put a big basket on the back.
Yeah. Okay, before we get
no,
to
there's a little luggage rack on it.
Walter had one of those with one of those pop-up crates on the back. That's a goofy looking.
Man, that son of a bitch is sweet.
Until you have to get on the highway.
Well, they're not made for the highway.
Well, that's why that's not good for this gentleman.
What's he just buzzing around town?
How about I read the question for the recording?
Yeah, why don't you read the fucking question?
Please.
Let's kick off the episode so everyone knows what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah, let's do it.
Poop jokes, go.
Read the question.
I'm not good at jokes. You guys know this. I only know the one, and I already told it. Okay, so welcome back, everyone, to the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we are going to cover a topic that one of our listeners threw out in the Discord. So Jay Toms is a good friend of ours. He says, my neighbor asked me this question, and I thought I would pass it along. He is considering learning to ride and buying a bike strictly as a utilitarian use. He drives around town to different offices and is considering a bike so he is not putting extra miles on his car. What would be a good starter/utility bike for him to use? His suggestion was to look at some of the Honda lineups.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. I do that.
So Brittany,
I still say a scooter.
Well, yeah. Brittany, you talked to him a little bit about this question, right? Prior to reading just now?
Yeah, like briefly, we talked about it on our trip together. So
did he say exactly what his friend does and what tools he takes?
He didn't, but I got the impression that, like, I'm picturing
I know where Jay lives.
I'm picturing like an electrician set of tools, so just like a very basic set for if you're going around and I don't know, checking like panels or something. I don't think you need like an elaborate tool set, but you need room to store some supplies to go around to offices.
Scooter.
And say, you could assume maybe too that they would want like a laptop or something to that effect. I know sometimes laptops are tricky to get into saddlebags, depending on your bike.
They're not on a scooter.
Yeah. Well, let's break this down first. Because there's I don't know. I mean, there's no mention of tools in here, and I don't know. Maybe it's a factor, maybe it's not. But so this person has never ridden before.
Nope.
Right.
And I know the area they're talking about. I used to live there in that area where Jay lives.
Yeah.
And half the people there commute on bikes.
What kind of bikes do they commute on?
Like regular bicycles. I mean, it's like
Oh.
You know what I mean? It's a
very granola eater.
Yeah, it is. You need to have. If you don't own a Subaru with a bike rack on it, you're fucked.
Okay. Okay.
You don't fit in with your neighbors.
Yeah, exactly. And you better have some hiking boots.
So he needs something that's probably small and nimble. Something that
traffic's horrible.
That he can get comfortable with.
Okay. Yeah.
He might want to. I mean, if you were talking about notebook and stuff, well, you put that in a backpack.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some. I mean, I'm going to go back to what Dustin said. I would look at the Honda Rebel.
Oh, I have a better one.
And the reason I would look at the Rebel over his scooter, Tony, is that he's never ridden before. He might find out he likes riding a little better than just around town.
He might.
On a Rebel, he can have a little fun on a Rebel.
Mm-hmm. And they have a version with bags now.
Yep.
Yep.
That's
all right.
It's not a bad. And the Rebel's a 1200, right?
I think they make a 250 too.
Isn't
Two
it
or
11?
three.
500,
It's 1100, right?
Yeah. I think they make a smaller one, don't they?
They have the 500, and then they
I
have
thought there was one below that.
no,
No?
no. They got rid of that. What was that? The first Rebel was like what, a 250 or 300?
Yeah, so they have
Yeah.
a 300, they have a 500, an 1100, and then the 1100T DCT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've seen that 1100, man. It's a nice looking bike.
It don't
That's
look
too
bad.
much bike for somebody learning how to
Yeah,
ride,
it's
though.
it's especially that Honda because
Yeah,
that's
I
gonna have
would-
some.
I
That's
would
gonna have some
go-
get up.
I would
Well-
go even like the BMW, that little 350 GS they make. I think it's $4,500.
That's where I'm at. That's what I'm
Yeah.
looking at right now. It's a G310 GS, and
Yeah.
it's as shown. The one I'm looking at, as shown, it's $5,800, $5,890.
Yeah.
Base model is $5,695. I mean, this is a mini adventure bike that you can put bags on, hard bags, the whole thing.
No.
But it's a small bike, but it's got all of the features. I mean, I'm pretty sure this motherfucker's got Öhlins on it. I mean, it's got
Jesus.
Yeah,
all of
I've
the.
ridden one of those, and I mean, you could do the expressway on it. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not going to go distance on the expressway, but I mean, you can go jump on
Yep.
it and go to the next.
What
exit.
is that? What are you talking about?
It's a BMW G310 GS. So it's basically like a mini. It's like a
It's a mini adventure bike.
adventure bike. Yep.
310 cc's. It's a thumper.
Oh no, that
Yeah.
that looks
It's a badass little motherfucker.
that looks pretty good.
Under $6,000.
Yeah.
I mean, BMW. This is a home run right here.
I think
You know,
it's a good bike.
It's a
you-
nice bike.
You'd fit in with that whole granola eating crowd you were just
Yes,
talking
you
about.
would. You'd have your BMW.
He could ride it right out in front of Starbucks and park it and fit in with all the other
Just
assholes parked out
Fit
there.
right in, man.
Yep.
What
Can
the
you put
hell,
it up on
man?
the screen? I know Dustin's the one that's the most.
You know, every time you talk about BMWs, you don't have to talk about assholes. The two are
Yeah, we
not.
do.
The two
Well,
are not-
every asshole has one. Every asshole I know has one. So there you go.
fuck you, buddy.
I don't have one yet, Tony.
Yeah.
Give me time.
No, I think that's actually. I'm impressed, Ryan. You actually gave a good answer.
No, it's a nice
Thank
bike.
you very much.
You know what bike would probably be
A scooter.
yes, but most specifically the Ruckus.
Oh yeah, the
There's
Ruckus.
storage underneath you.
You know, they're
Yeah.
really low to the ground though. Like I would be eating bumper on one of those fucking things.
The thing with the 50s, those 50 cc's, you don't even have to license here, but you can get those
Yeah.
125 scooters, and I mean, they'll run 55, 60 miles an hour,
yeah, for
and they
sure.
get 120 miles the gallon, have
Yep.
storage under the seat, and you can carry a 30 pack in the floor between your feet. I've done it. So,
That's valid.
you know, you can
Yeah.
you can haul quite a bit on it, and they're easy to they're easy to ride, and you can park
Yep.
them with the fucking bicycles.
Dude,
and-
there ain't no way in hell
Okay.
I'm going, especially if I'm like a
Listen, Ascot,
blue-
man,
a blue
you
collar
would ride
worker
one.
carrying tools. I'm not fucking riding a Ruckus. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I did reach out to Jay and got some more clarity. He says he would be carrying around a laptop and your typical like business office items. So not necessarily tools,
Just need
primarily just
Backpack.
commuting.
Yep.
Just need a backpack.
Or
Okay,
some
let's
soft
go with
saddlebags.
let's go with the assumption that they don't want a backpack on their back the whole
Then
time.
you get some soft bags to put on the
Yeah.
back. Some throw.
for
get a-
no, for what? Would it change your answer for which bike you would choose?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
All right.
I have another one. So if you wanted to go a little bit more, no, that's probably not the right one.
Dude,
What you don't want
just-
is a Harley.
You already gave a good answer. All right, so quit while you're ahead before you jack it up.
Well, I was thinking the other way. You know, you could get something bulletproof that you're really not going to hurt, which would be like a Kawasaki KLR.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kawasaki might have some good.
Do they
You
still
know.
make the 250, or do they just make that 600 now?
Let me see.
I don't remember
Kawasaki.
The
what
only
they
problem with the
make.
It's the
600 is
650.
that
650.
motherfucker's big, dude.
It's tall. It is tall.
Yeah, it's a very tall bike.
Yeah. So it's a tall bike. So that might
Just
be
stop while you're ahead.
because I was thinking maybe like the W800, the Kawasaki W800, but that's a lot of bikes still. That's a pretty big motor.
Well, the W800, and you really are locked into a backpack. I think
Yep, you would be
with that.
locked
Yeah.
into a backpack.
You wouldn't have a lot of options.
Yep. No, I think I found the one. The GS 310.
The GS 310s, and they make a street version of that too.
Mm-hmm.
The streetwalker version.
Yeah, they make a street version, little like a naked looking sport bike version of it.
Walking the street naked.
Yeah, I got arrested for that.
Did you? I bet you did, man.
I would
That's,
think so.
I didn't know that was frowned upon.
Well, you do now.
I do now.
I'm dying on this hill.
Yeah, dude, that motherfucker, that thing's kind of badass. I'd
It is
ride
kind
it.
of badass.
I'd look like a monkey fucking a football, but I would try it.
you're not
Dude,
wrong about that.
So you
It
can
looks utilitarian.
you can make those things. There's a shop in my area up here. They'll make that motherfucker go 70 or 80 miles an hour.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
dude.
Yeah.
Have you seen those cocksuckers on the internet that's like got them hopped up with wheelie bars and shit?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, dude, they're taking off and they're like bullets.
Yep. That's a good one though, Dustin. I don't
I think that
I don't
might-
hate
I
that
think the
answer
Ruckus
either.
is cool.
It's got
Yeah.
room.
What's
I
that?
think scooters are fun as shit.
Do we know what the top speed? What's the top speed of a Ruckus? Will that thing
It's
do
a 50 cc, so it only do about 30.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, they're only 50 cc's.
Oh,
'Cause, I
maybe
mean,
that's
that-
not ideal.
Yeah,
then.
that might not be get him where, the
You need,
the
if you
speed
go
that he
scooter,
needs.
you need at least a 125.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
They'll
mean,
do
because if you're
55 or
com-
60.
even if you're not just in town, you still want to be. Well, even in town in Kentucky, you want to be able to go 50, 60, it seems like.
You could
Yeah.
get one of
We have
those
high
Honda.
speed limits.
You could get one of those Honda Cubs and get one of those big white wicker or white wire baskets and put it right on the front of that motherfucker, and then he can just.
Dude, I had a 125 scooter. I had a ball on that thing when I had it. I rode that motherfucker with no shoes on. I mean, whatever. I mean, you just jump on it like a bicycle and gone.
Hey, speaking of, I have to give S&S a shout out. So they, on one of their last podcasts, they talked about the top selling motorcycles in the world. And Harley's Street Glide has been dethroned for the first time.
Don't
In
tell me
about-
it's a fucking Indian.
And nope, for the first time in about, I think they said almost 20 years, there's been a Harley touring model in the top, in the top one or two places for the last 20 years as the most popular, highest selling motorcycle in the world. You want to know what the highest selling motorcycle in the world is right now?
Road
Yes,
King.
tell us already.
Road King.
No, it's
No,
not.
he said it's a non-Harley.
It's not a
not
Harley.
Oh,
not
I-
Harley at all.
Never mind. I thought you were talking just Harley.
No. It's the Honda Grom
The
Ah,
fucking
Grom.
Grom.
is
Wow.
the number one
that
selling motorcycle
shouldn't even count.
in the number one
That's a-
motorcycle selling motorcycle in
That's
the
a
world.
mi-
Yeah, that
that's
son of a bitch
that's
is
a
fun,
mini
too.
bike. That's a mini bike. Why does that count?
It
It's, a
counts.
110, it's got a 125 in it. That's
a
a
motorcycle.
motor. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a gimmick.
And then in the used motorcycle market, the Sportster is number one and number two.
Wow.
No shit.
Yep. Sportster's still the number one and number two selling bike in the used
how is it
the
number
used
one
market.
and two? Is it the engine
Because
price?
because they have that many resales of the Sportster that it takes over the first two spots that no one's even close. It's only the third spot.
So if the Grom was number one, what was
Yep.
number 2 and 3?
I don't remember number two, but number three was the Street Glide.
So it must have been the Road Glide. Must have been number 2. 'Cause
I don't remember.
it's better
No,
than the Street
nope.
Glide.
It's not. It's a different. It's there was another bike that was another non-American bike that was number 2, or the Street Glide was number 2. I don't really totally remember that. I do remember that Indian only had one bike on the list, and it was the
Dark Horse.
no, it's the
Chieftain.
bobber one.
Scout.
The Scout.
Scout.
Indian Scout was the only bike that they had in the top 10. In fact, the R6 made the top 10. If you can fucking believe that.
Yeah, it's I could
Yeah,
see
but
that.
that bike is dangerous. That's hella dangerous. That bike is hella dangerous. So I can't believe that would make the top 10. But yeah, it was in the top 10. So. But there was a couple of Harleys in the top 10, but yeah, the number one selling motorcycle in the United States right now is the Honda Grom. Or not, so I'm sorry, in the
Fucking-
world.
You meet the nicest
In the
people
world.
on a Honda.
Yeah, that commercial from way back in the
Yeah.
day, right?
Yeah, fucking
Totally
Honda,
different
man.
now.
Totally different.
Now they're all parked out in front of coffee shops. They're assholes.
Yeah, they're all.
Jesus.
I could really get us. I'd have put some shit in here Dustin have to edit out, but I'm not going to. So Dustin is out.
Just temporarily.
Oh,
it sound like
Was he
There's
farting?
background noise.
No, I think
No, there's like the dog.
there's
or
a dog
something.
barking, maybe, or they're butchering a pig back there. Not sure what.
Something weird.
Bueno.
So, Dave, you're on the road right now. So where have you been?
Well, I've been slowly making my way towards Milwaukee for the 120th. I rode up to Pittsburgh on the 4th of July
Okay.
to stay with my son, and I'm kind of doing the digital nomad stuff for a week and a half, where I'm working from different places on the road. I'm in Chicago now at my sister's,
Okay.
and then Wednesday night I head up to Milwaukee, and Volts is going to show up, I think, on Thursday.
Okay.
So then
Nice.
we're gonna check out the 120th, man, and the 5
Foo
Dirty
Fighters.
Bikers Sportster.
And
Nice.
the Foo Fighters.
And the
Green Day.
Nice.
Green Day and the Foo Fighters.
Super
That'll be
excited
good,
about
yeah.
Green Day, one of my favorite bands. Joan Jett, and then I love.
She's
the Foo
128 years old.
Mm-hmm. Today.
Fighters. She is, but you
Yeah.
can still do her.
Oh my god.
Good luck.
Well, she's only half your age.
There's Percy. Had to make it creepy with Joan
Yeah.
Jett.
What can I
Had to
say?
make it creepy
She
with
does.
Joan Jett.
She wouldn't go with you anyway. So.
Well, she's a little bit of a manly hoe.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I'm sure she's been on all the Blackheart's gravy train. So
I'd say she's not afraid
Probably
of the dong
not.
at all.
Probably not.
Gravy train.
Probably not.
She is not afraid of it. I can tell you that.
You guys don't know a lot about Joan Jett, do you?
I don't think she's afraid of anything.
Anyway, so that's the plan.
From the rooter to the tutor.
Oh my God.
Gold star, Mr. Cox.
wow.
You're
I
welcome.
think the stuff's kicking in.
You've lived quite the life to come up with this stuff there, Tony. So,
Just saying.
Whew.
Just saying.
Well,
So,
I tell
Tony,
you what.
what
I tell you-
four-wheel transportation were you on all weekend last weekend?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I was on a golf cart.
Mm.
I
The
rented
whole
a golf
weekend,
cart
huh?
down in Key West. Yeah, I was. We traveled on a golf cart the whole week, and I'll tell you what: every scooter that's imported in the U.S. is in Key West.
I see a lot of
I've never seen
in
so many
Kentucky.
scooters in my life.
Of every kind?
Kimco.
Mhm.
Oh, Kimco scooters. Okay.
We got to
Yeah,
use one of
dude,
those
I
in
mean-
last week.
are
They
those
are
like
just
old
everywhere.
people? Because I know it's old people. They buy all the golf carts in these old people communities and stuff down in Florida.
Well,
Did
the
they do the
Key West,
scooters too?
Key West, the speed limit on the island is 30 miles an hour
Yeah.
Ah,
on the whole island. So everybody is either on a scooter or in a golf cart, and the parking doesn't exist.
Nice.
So if you have a car, parking, it's a parking pass for. I was talking to some of the locals to get a parking pass to park your car on the street is $900 every 6 months.
Holy shit.
cow!
Yeah. So everybody's on scooters and golf carts down there. I mean, everybody
Wow.
is, or on foot.
Hmm.
So,
So,
That's kind of bullshit.
so if there's people that live on Key West, they don't have cars. Then they just
there's
they just
cars
use
there, but people pay for the parking. But I mean,
Good
you know,
Lord.
of course, my wife's favorite thing is like turn on Zillow when you're like passing all the car or the houses
Yep.
and shit.
Yep.
So 900 square foot shack,
Mhm.
and I say fucking wood shack,
Yeah.
was $1.6 million.
Right.
Wow.
So to get
Yeah.
anything in like 2,500 to 3,000 square feet was $5.6 million.
And you, I mean, you're right there in the hurricane zone.
Yeah. Well, Key
It's
West is
ridiculous.
kind of protected because there's a reef around it. so they don't get waves. That's the reason they don't have beaches, because they don't make any sand because there's no waves, because they all break on the reef.
Oh,
They have to bring the sand in
Well,
yearly, so they're a little protected, but they do get storm surge and stuff like that. But
yeah, it's climate change is a bitch. So
yeah,
come talk to me in 5 years.
but no, it's expensive as shit down there. It's nice though.
Hmm.
It's nice.
Yeah, we did that when we went to Florida the last time. We rented one of those golf carts and drove it around, and we did the exact same thing. We drove into there's a place right outside of Clearwater, and it's basically like Beverly Hills, Florida, and we drove around down there. And my wife did the same thing. Looked up Zillow and just started looking at home prices, and yeah, it's just redonkulous.
It's crazy. So there was this one time we did have to go to the next key up for this kayak tour we did. So it's like 55 on that. I got the fucking golf cart out, man. I'm doing 20. I'm going, go around. People were pissed off, man, but we made it.
How far was it?
It was only like a mile. It was like a mile bridge to go over. And yeah, the people, it was 2 lanes. They could go around, but yeah.
Right.
People were a little stressed out. I probably shouldn't have taken the golf cart, but
you could have rented a scooter that day, and your new wife could have jumped on there and just cruised up there.
Dude, I saw some. I can tell you this: they do not worry if you can ride it or not when they rent it to you.
No shit.
And they don't care how fucking big you are either. There was some couples on a fucking scooter where you couldn't even see the scooter.
Like two up on a scooter?
Yeah, 2 up on a scooter.
Jesus Christ, man.
And some of the best highlights I had were watching people like riding these things that had no clue what they were doing. I watched this one lady come around the corner with her fucking legs straight up in the air, just goosing it, heading, trying to make it around the corner. And they don't give you helmets or anything. They just, there you go.
Maybe she was trying to make friends, man. Don't,
Yeah, it was great. I was like, boy, how long does it take to unfuck this? Because these people are just, there's no clue, man.
That's just called natural selection, is all that is.
Yeah, my wife was like, what is wrong with you? Why do you find this funny? And I was like, I think it's fucking hilarious.
Tony laughs at others' misery.
Oh, man. People just struggling on these things. You know what I mean?
Do they feel that awkward to ride? I've never actually ridden a scooter.
I guess if you've never ridden one,
they're weird.
You know what I mean?
They're
because
weird.
the weight distribution is so different.
Well,
I imagine.
I'll tell you what. This one couple, I mean,
Not much
I'm
weight.
saying 650. I mean, this thing was struggling, dude.
No.
I feel like Howard Finkel needs to
Yeah, these
announce
two
the,
were big,
the
man.
combined
I mean,
weight.
big.
Wow.
Oh.
Coming
I was
down
like,
the
that's
aisle,
fucking-
weighing in at 650 pounds.
I was like, that's fucking,
Team Scooter.
that scooter struggling like the buttons on that fucker's shirt.
Tony's in not give a fuck mode.
No.
Yeah.
Well, they got little tiny wheels on them too, so he was
Oh,
probably
tiny,
rimming it the
tiny,
whole way
dude.
too.
Oh my
Just
God,
tires
yeah.
just flat as fuck.
Yeah, that was good form of entertainment.
Oh, I bet.
I can imagine. I've seen some suspect people in Lexington on scooters. Just in Kentucky in general, it's the most scooters I've ever seen.
But yeah, it's there's like girls going to work down at the red light district with skirts and high heels on, just on a scooter.
On a scooter.
On a scooter, man. I was like, look at this shit. Good luck.
Well,
That's nuts.
We got several other Discord questions that the listeners left for us, so we ought to just go ahead and
Are we
continue
done
off of this.
Are we done with Jay? I think
Yeah, we've kind of beat that horse to death.
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll start with Randy, the rider coach, getting back into this. When was the last time you attended a rider skills course, whether it be a refresher or an advanced rider age course, track day, or advanced skills course?
I have never done one, but I would love to do one.
Oh, not since the MSF course for me.
Same for me. I would like to do one. I think it would be really great, but
Yeah, I've never done one, but I'd like to do one. Have you done one, Ryan?
I haven't done an official what he's talking about, like that's sponsored or endorsed by someone. I've not done one of those, no.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
answer
right.
me this: Are there advanced classes that actually get you into traffic?
Percy
I don't
rode.
know.
Percy can ride a trike.
Yeah, I did the MSF when I started riding again, and then I did that three wheel course. That was a lot of fun.
So you could ride one of those stupid ass vehicles with a steering wheel on it.
I don't think you have to have a bike license for that. So in Virginia, you have two different licenses. You have a license for a two-wheel
Okay.
motorcycle or a three-wheel bike.
Or the
Right.
slingshot, you get the douchebag license.
I don't know. I think that's considered a car. I think that's considered a car.
You know what? I think the slingshot is, but that one that has the two wheels in the front and the one in the back that doesn't have the car body around it, that's considered a trike. I don't
Which
remember
one
what that is. Is it a Riker or something?
No, those are
Oh.
considered a motorcycle.
That's the Can-Am. That's the
Yeah,
Polaris Riker. Yeah, those look like a lot of fun too. One of the
Because there's what was the other one that Tony just said? The slingshot.
Yeah.
I've heard that there are states that you need to wear a helmet if you ride one of those or drive one of those slingshots.
yeah.
Which is funny because it's no different than a convertible. I mean, the thing is built
Yeah.
on the Chevy Cruze body style or subframe. So,
But is it lighter weight and faster speed? Maybe.
as far as I know, that thing is basically a Chevy Cruze with that
It's
stupid
the
ass
dumbest
body.
fucking thing I've ever seen
Is
in
it?
my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Randy,
Yeah.
I mean, I think at least for me, I've taken 2 courses over the last 5 years. I think everybody had to take a course. I just, I won't do
I
the advanced
agree.
course because I don't want to use my own bike. If I
That's
could
fair.
use somebody else's bike, then I would do. And I'd really like to take that. Who's the Paladin guy, the cop down
Yeah.
in Florida or Georgia or whatever. But I don't want to use my bike.
Sure.
Do they make you? Do you know, Dave?
You got to use your own bike.
For all
For
those
wh-
guys, for
What
Joe,
kind of class?
what is
For
it,
like
Joe
a-
Palladina, and
yeah,
be
yeah.
the boss of your motorcycle?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
then
I would
the
love to do some of
advanced
that.
courses, you use your own bike too. I think.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was just looking up here the MSF offerings for Lexington.
Ride like a
Um,
pro. I think Doodle took all his courses, didn't she?
She
Yeah,
did.
she
Yeah.
did do
She's-
the.
Yep.
She's done a couple of times, I think, with him.
Yeah, Jerry
Speaks very
Palladino, I
highly.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
You know,
speaks
it
very
would be a
highly
good
of
episode to get an actual class teacher on here
Yeah.
to talk about
Yeah.
just the regular MSF and the advanced courses. We'll have to put
Yeah.
that on the list.
Yeah, for sure. That's a
Yep.
great idea.
So the
Thank
MSF.
you, Randy the
um,
Rider, for asking that question.
Randy the Rider coach.
Randy the
I
Rider
think
coach.
MSF in most states
Oh,
do
hang
the
on. Hang
basic
on.
rider. Can I finish my
I'm
sentence?
sorry.
No,
No, Randy the
Jesus.
Rider coach. Is he trying to sell his wares here?
he might be.
What?
Maybe he is.
Could be.
Well, Danny, we need to have you on.
Randy or Randy.
Randy, Danny, it's all the same.
Randy, let us know. Are you a rider coach? Are you
Yeah.
a trainer?
And hopefully it's motorcycle riding.
Yeah. Swing.
What were you going to say now, Brittany?
So I believe the MSF for most
You know what,
states-
Brittany?
I am gonna fucking leave for the day. This is seriously. God damn it, Tony. So everyone's aware of their basic rider course, but I know in Nebraska and here in Kentucky they offer basic rider 2, which you have to use your own bike. It's higher speeds than the intro. They have the 3-wheel that Dave talked about, and then they also have some advanced rider courses.
When you say they, who's they? That.
The MSF, Motorcycle
okay.
Safety Foundation.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. So I guess I'm not 100% sure if they're in every state, but wherever they are located, I think they offer pretty much the same classes everywhere.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'd like to take
but
a
you
course.
do, like Dave said, you do have to use your own bike, and that's one thing that's held me up too, because I feel like you're gonna make a mistake at some point.
Yeah, I'm not jacking up my road glide.
Hmm.
I'll jack
I
up
suppose you
anybody
could
else's.
buy, like, this might not be practical, but just a thought. I suppose you could just buy a beat up used bike to do for the class so that you could learn the skills from someone.
Or we could ride a Sportster. I know somebody that's got one.
No, I'm not giving you my But there's like, I mean, there's like total. Well, they're still usable, but there's what is it called when the registration? It's like a totaled bike. What the fuck is that called?
It's called a totaled bike
Got a
registration.
totaled bike.
No, like the type
Salvage?
of title that it has.
Salvage title.
So
Yeah.
that there's salvage titles vehicles that are bikes that are still rideable.
People
And I'm
still
sure
want
you
too
could
much
get
money
it
for those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked recently, but
I'm not buying a bike to take a course and trying to sell
Some
a bike.
bitch tracks
I'm
a
just
little
saying,
funny.
it's just a thought.
Okay,
Good.
so
thanks, Randy, for your
Randy
product,
the rider?
your service product placement
right.
announcement.
So we have Swedish style chopper.
Yeah.
So he says, what does the old/new ratio on roads where you live look like? I think he's talking about bikes. Okay, regarding bikes, I mean, here in Sweden, the newer bikes, say M8 bikes or just 1 or 2 years older bikes, have skyrocketed on the roads. It's a bit different from, say, 10 years ago. I saw tons of Evo bikes on the roads. It shows now, and it's an observation, but the guys at the dealers say the business is booming, so it might be accurate. Old choppers still rule, but they can be a pain in the ass. So he's wondering if in the areas that we all ride, if the newer bikes are starting to outnumber the older bikes.
I think
Yes.
it depends on the area that I'm in.
Right.
That could
So,
be,
like,
yeah.
Around me, it's all new bikes. But if I go out toward like old Louisville, like Nulu and places like that, then all you see is retro stuff,
Sure.
is old bikes. I think it depends on the area of the town that you're in. But
In my area, I would say the twin cam still rules.
Yeah.
Even on baggers, I think that there is a shit ton of twin cam bikes on the road, and I still think that they're probably the vast majority of the bikes that I see are twin cams.
that and Evos, man, those Sportster Evos are fucking everywhere. I mean, they're like fucking flies.
I guess
Yeah.
he's just talking strictly Harley here, huh?
Yeah, he's kind of
Yeah.
just. I think he's just speaking really of Harleys.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was just talking in general, but I mostly see Harleys everywhere we go.
Yeah,
I don't
it
ever
says
see
say
Indians here.
From him saying say M8 bikes,
I
I
gotcha.
figured it would
Yeah.
be a Harley
Right.
only question. I tell you what, in the shop, we're seeing still a lot of the twin cams, but a lot of people are
I wonder why
opting
that
up.
is. Because the fuckers break.
There's a lot of twin cams. I mean, what the twin cam had 4 or
No,
5
there's a shit
iterations of
ton
that
of them,
motor.
man.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
There's a shit ton of them.
there's a lot of them.
Speaking of motors, has anybody seen the fucking CVO yet in
Mhm.
person?
Oh no, we haven't got one in the shop yet.
Hopefully here in a few days. I haven't seen it yet, though.
I'm hoping they start rolling out after the 120th. That's probably what they're gonna do.
I think I just shat my pants.
Were you thinking about buying
From
one? and
what?
maybe
No,
shit
no.
your pants?
I was just curious of what people thought of the VVT, if there's anybody that's been on one yet.
Mr. Blockhead has.
That air cleaner's still suspect looking to me. I don't know.
Well, it's a little fucking dog shit ugly, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you can fix that.
Yeah. That's a fairly cheap thing or inexpensive thing to fix. All right. Are we done with Swedish style chopper?
Yeah, yeah.
I will say, I don't know if it's any coincidence, but I was in Munich. I would say it was a fairly heavy mix of Harleys and everything, and they were newer Harleys. Saw a few old ones, but they were mostly all
In
new.
Munich?
Yeah, and down in Austria and stuff. So there you go.
What was that noise?
So the next
Chinese
one's from
possessed.
Big Deal, though.
Big dildo.
Big Deal. If you say it real quick, yeah, right.
Big
If you say,
dildo.
if you say it southernly,
Yeah. Big deal, though.
Big dildo. Yeah, all right.
What is a bucket list item you are embarrassed
Not the
of?
big dildo.
For example, I haven't had a 2-up ride yet. Maybe someday when the wife trusts me. Doesn't necessarily have to do with motorcycles. Example, toothless midget hooker. Also,
What?
when the wife lets me. Okay. So I think the question is basically what's on your bucket list, but it would be an embarrassment if
That
you
you're
told other
embarrassed
people.
about. Yeah.
Yeah.
On a
I
bike?
No,
don't
it doesn't have to
know.
be bikes. Could be anything. Just something you want to do in life on your bucket list that you're embarrassed of to tell people.
Well, I'm surely not going to tell it on here. I mean,
You can trust us. We won't tell anybody,
yeah,
Tony. What's
surely not going to say
We'll
it on
edit
this
it out.
platform.
I don't know. Is anyone here going to be dumb enough to answer that question on
Not
the
I.
podcast?
Honestly, I don't have anything.
I don't embarrass easy. Yeah, if I don't embarrass easy. So I mean,
I enjoy being married.
I'll own up to it. I like Zac Efron movies.
You mean your bucket list item, Tony, isn't to hook up with Joan Jett?
No, hell no. You wouldn't have to worry about slamming your dick in the car door. It might just fall off.
Oh man!
Just
Miss
drive your.
Jett,
Ryan,
Miss
You
Jett,
can
I
just drive. You
apologize
can just
if
drive
you-
your car in and ask the guy next to you if he can
Like the
find your
Walking
keys.
Dead dick.
Oh man!
Ryan, if you've seen Zac Efron, have you watched his like Down to Earth series?
I haven't yet. I'm very interested in it.
I think it's pretty good, actually.
I what pisses me off is every time I watch a Zac Efron movie, I like it. So
I
Yeah.
haven't watched one because I don't have a vagina.
Is he
Are
in
you
the
sure?
movie
Did he
Neighbors?
check?
No, I'm not.
yeah, he is.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a funny movie what Tony
Yeah.
would like.
Yeah, it is. He would like Neighbors. He'd also. I'm sure Tony's seen the modern.
I've seen Neighbors.
Yeah,
Is
see,
that Zac Efron? See, I
Yeah.
didn't even know it was him.
You've seen the modern Baywatch, haven't you, with The Rock in it?
Oh yeah.
Then you
Is he
saw
in that
Zac
one, too?
Efron. Yeah, he's in that one too.
He was too busy.
I
checking
guess
out
Tony
The
has
Rock.
a vagina
All of a sudden,
after all.
yeah. all of a sudden-
Yes, I do.
Tony's got a vajayjay.
It's,
You're welcome.
mangina.
Yeah, but look at all the bulges.
Look at all them bulges
look at that vagina of his. It's got all that gray hair all over it.
all over.
Oh, gross.
You smell what he's cooking?
You smell what it's cooking.
Tony's got
you're growing flies.
Tony's got camel toe.
Moose knuckle.
The Rock probably shaved his bush so that he could do the people's eyebrow with it.
Well, this has gone sideways.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Okay. Are we done?
See what
with,
happens when Big Dildo asks a question?
Oh wow.
All right.
Okay.
Moving right along. Is,
Oh, so the
who wants to
answer is
read off-
nothing.
yeah,
None of
who-
us.
Who wants to read off Sean's question?
If you're, I'll do it.
Oh, okay.
All Ryan, Sean's
that?
going to be joining us this coming weekend.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Where is that? The guy from
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. Okay. It says, if you're just going for an hour or two weekend cruise, which do you prefer, riding by yourself or with other bikes? None of my friends own bikes, so I've gotten used to just the solo rides, but kind of miss the camaraderie of riding with others.
That's a tough question. I think each has their place.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I don't know if you guys remember, but we did that episode on if your spouses rode. And you
Yep.
guys were asking me about like mine and Jared's trips, like how often do we go out on the bike together? I used to, before he moved here, ride 100% solo, and it is really nice. There is a nice aspect of it because you're not thinking about anyone else. You're just riding.
And with Jared's directions, I understand.
Well, and part of the struggle with me and Jared is that I just ride my own speed, my own whatever, and his and my speeds are very different. He would prefer to be going like 100 miles per hour, and I ride like 50. So,
Sure.
but I do still, I'm with him like even when we just did this weekend trip, it was so much fun having other people to go on like a trip with and be able to chat with, and you stop for meals and stuff.
He's saying hour or two. I mean, if it's
Right.
that short, I'm not going to trouble somebody else to go ride with me for an hour.
Right.
Fuck, it'll take you an hour just to get out of the driveway with other people.
No shit. That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
We've had some
schedules.
good meetups, Tony. You mean?
Well, I know, but I
Phil
mean,
and-
what I'm saying, if you only have an hour or two to do it, I mean, by the time you get together and
Gas
shoot the
up.
shit,
Yep.
gas up, and
Yeah, that's
going,
fair.
I would say it depends on where you're going, because I know a lot of times Volts and I will hook up just to go. We'll spend an hour to ride somewhere to get a cup of coffee.
you
On
and
the
that
weekend,
fucking
just
coffee.
But if you've only got an hour and you've got nowhere to go, then
But Dave, aren't you doing that really more to hang out than you are to ride together?
we are.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't think that
Yeah.
kind of fits
That's-
into it. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I agree with Brittany. I think they both have their place, and I just like what Dustin and Tony said. If I only had an hour or two, I'm probably not going to call all my buddies and go ride together. I mean, when I ride with my crew, we'll ride for a half a day or something like that. 4, 5, 6 hours is typically what we like to do when we're going to ride.
Yeah.
But I would add a caveat to this, and that is anybody that's out there riding that likes to travel on their bikes, I would suggest that every rider that likes to travel do a solo trip.
This is probably the 5th time you've told us.
Hey,
He's
dude,
very diehard about it.
I can't tell you how liberating it is. That trip that I did last year when I went down to Tony, and I mean, you're right. I've said it like 5 times. I'll die on this cross. A solo trip, I think you learn so much about yourself over the course of a period of days on the road, about your own riding style, your own preferences. You get to go at your own pace, stop when you want to. I found out that when I'm riding by myself, there's very often times that I'll go much longer between gas stops than I do when I'm riding with a crew. Because I ride based on how I feel. Sometimes I'll ride 70 miles and take a break, and sometimes I'll ride 200 miles and take a break.
Yeah.
It just completely, you ride how you feel. And I find that by myself, I make way better time too. But yeah, I think they each have their place, both solo and, the camaraderie obviously is about riding together. But even when you have, like, we found this out, even when we have comms, we use our comms when we're in traffic. We use our comms when we are, coming into our destination or leaving our destination. But when we get out on the open road, we're not talking.
Oh man, I was surprised when we did our weekend trip. I think part of it too was that everybody was like antsy to get out and do something.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone on our group was talking almost the entire ride down to Alabama.
Really?
Sometimes with
Oh,
comms,
yeah.
you're just like, God, I wish everybody would just shut the fuck up.
I enjoyed it. I mean, we just, I don't know, you just talk about random shit, tell stories, whatever. But I thought for sure it would be like maybe a couple hours of people chatting and then it would die down. But I don't know. I guess maybe we all just mesh really well.
I'd say this weekend when Ryan comes out, there's going to be lots of motherfuckers saying lots of motherfucking things.
Yeah, that's going to be some fuckery right there. We're going to have to make sure we're paying attention. Somebody's going to get
Gonna
hurt.
be a fuck storm of fuckery.
How many can you mesh on?
Oh, that's a good
Cardo.
question. I
It's
don't know.
unlimited, dude.
Yeah,
because
Cardo's
you can-
unlimited.
Is it?
Unlimited, yeah.
Cool.
Well, I mean, to an extent. I mean, it's like 25 or 30.
Yeah.
But each rider could add like 6 or 10 on. And
Yeah.
so, and then
Yeah,
if you
but there's a limit.
bridged them, Dave, if you bridged them instead of meshed them, you could probably do way more than that.
I don't want to ride. I don't want to talk to any more than 30 people. Fuck that.
No, I mean,
You wouldn't
there's a technical limit on Cardo.
Oh, okay.
I just can't remember what it is.
Let's
It's
see.
a lot.
DMC, sorry, I'm Googling. DMC says 15 riders at once.
Mhm.
Is that what we normally use? I feel like that's what we use. DMC
Yeah, the
intercom.
mesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell you what,
15.
man, that new Edge is something special.
I
love it.
It's a nice unit.
It's
I like it a lot.
it is worth the upgrade.
The
Absolutely.
attachment is worth the upgrade.
Well, yeah.
The way it attaches.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
even the quality. I mean, the quality of the sound for me is better.
Yeah,
And
me too.
and the power, the battery life.
The battery
Yeah,
life. I'll
oh,
tell you
is
what,
it?
the battery life is significantly better on the Pack Talk Bold than it is on the Senna 50S,
Yeah.
which I am selling tomorrow, by the way.
I rode
Dude.
two days.
I got 2
on one
fucking
charge.
cans and a string that has Senna written on it.
It's not a bad comm system. Honestly, the sounds, I think, is
Well,
a
of course,
little
you're going
bit
to say
better.
that. You're trying to sell it.
No, this
No, you
is
just said the
honesty.
battery was worse.
It's not
than
bad. I'm
Cardo's.
just
The
selling
battery
mine
sucks.
'cause
The
it's a
battery
piece
life
of
on it,
shit.
yeah, battery life on it is terrible. But the sound quality is a little bit better. You get a little more low end bass.
Yeah.
I think it's whatever your people you ride with use.
Yeah,
you
whatever
gotta
you
have
people
the
you
same
ride with
one.
have that.
And
Yeah.
I
If
and
they
I think
have
the,
Senna, then you need Senna.
I think the limit is similar on both. The
Yeah.
technical limit's similar on both Senna and Cardo. It's like 12 to 15 people.
Because trying to mix those two together is a fucking nightmare. And then when
Mhm.
you do get them to bridge together, they sound like shit.
Oh, like FTB M21.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were coming in and out, and you sounded like you
Yeah.
fucking had a mouthful of dick.
I thought Tony. I
Terrible.
thought Dustin was going to pop a vein. He was getting so pissed.
Yeah.
I was like, you're getting like half the yell in the intercom.
Yeah.
Mother.
Yeah, that's all you get.
All right, we got one more question from the ball sack about his fuel.
Fuel.
So he wants to talk about gas.
Tackling fuel.
Ethanol versus ethanol free. Talked to a guy in Daytona that swore the ethanol gas was a Harley killer and he refused to put it in his bike. I'm going to throw bullshit on that.
Yeah, yet
I-
they call in the manual to put 91.
I can't even get ethanol free here.
No.
Yeah. I mean,
I
fuel's so
think most of
highly
them have.
engineered anymore these days. It's not,
I'll tell you what, you
It's like
spend
the oil.
you
Yeah.
spend any amount of time on the road though, you're gonna hit a gas station that only has fucking 87. It happens.
Yeah, it happens.
And you fucking run it, and the next gas station you put 91 in. I mean, it is what it is. There's, we happened on our last trip in South Dakota, man. We hit a gas station that didn't even have it wasn't even paved. It was a gravel gas station, and all they had was 87. You do what you got to
Yeah.
do.
You know what? Here's the deal. We baby these fucking molders like they're fucking made out of glass, right? We're afraid to put the wrong oil in it and the wrong gas. Then you got motherfuckers like Bogan that ride this motherfucker in a swamp.
Yeah, into the
And it
ocean.
just keeps on fucking running.
Yeah.
He does
Goddamn
do
salt
maintenance
water
after
coming
the
out of the
fact.
exhaust pipe,
Hmm.
These things are a lot tougher than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I throw bullshit on this.
Yeah.
I never even pay attention. I go in, I put 93 in. If they don't have 93, I put 91. I never look to see whether it's ethanol free or not on
No.
either my bike or my car.
I think the only time ethanol comes into play is when your bike is setting in the winter.
Yeah.
Then you could gum up, but it's not as bad on a fuel injected as a carburetor. Carburetor gum up fucking quick on you.
Yeah.
The other thing that I always say too is that if your bike is stored in a climate controlled area, it's like putting your bike on it. It's like putting your battery in a battery tender. People are like, oh, these Harley batteries don't last very long. It's bullshit. If you use a battery
Plug 'em
tender
in.
on your bike,
Yeah.
keep your bike plugged in, condition your battery like you're supposed to, the motherfucker's going to last.
I have my
Yeah.
stock battery still.
I do
Yeah.
too.
Bought it in 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a 17. My bike still has a stock battery. I mean, fuck, you just got to treat it right.
So not counting Ryan because he lives up in Walu, Iceland crap. The rest of you guys, what's your rule of thumb? When are you going to put the tender on your bike? Is it if you're not going to ride it for a week, for 2 weeks? Dustin, you said 2 weeks,
2 days.
2 days.
I plug mine in as soon as when I pull in the garage.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. Unless I'm
really?
going out like the next day.
Yeah.
Like when you guys are here, if I'm going out the next day, I don't. But like if I go out on a ride,
If you're not riding 2 consecutive days, you plug it in.
yeah, I'll plug it in. Just leave it plugged in until I ride it again.
Brittany?
It's easy and it's insurance.
Jared is usually the one that's on top of plugging in the motorcycles, but so the Sportster we
You plug
in,
something else.
No.
Jared.
The Sportster we plug in more frequently since it sits more.
Yep, a lot more.
It
I
should
feel like
just
the
stay
other
plugged in.
two, the other two we don't plug them in unless we're not riding. So if we're not riding, like if we know they're gonna sit, I think it's probably about every 2 weeks that we would plug it in.
So there's no harm in plugging it in and just leaving
leaving
it
it.
plugged in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I plug mine in if I know I'm not going to ride for like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't plug it in.
Because I don't hardly ever ride during the week with work. I mean, I just don't. It's usually the weekend. So when I ride, I come home and I plug it in and good to go.
There you go.
There you
Jared
go.
says we never plug them in.
There you
I
go,
disagree,
ball sack.
but that's okay.
We threw in a little extra battery tender there into your ethanol versus ethanol free.
Yeah, I really don't think. I mean, Weems was the chopper. Our chopper, we're giving it away. He was kind of adamant on ethanol free, just because when it sets, you could gum up the carburetor with ethanol. But I mean, like I said, but here where at least where I'm at, I don't have an option for ethanol free. So
yeah,
put moonshine in that motherfucker.
Moonshine. Well, that's all the questions from the Discord. Thanks everybody for stopping by.
Can always count on you.
Always count on the Discord to give us some content.
Yeah,
Like
For
fucking
sure.
metals content.
and some funny names like Big Dildo.
Big dildo
Ballsack.
strong,
Yeah.
and it should be hairy ballsack.
Well, I think he's changed his name to Blake. Blake, I think we all kind of like Ballsack better.
Balake.
Balake. Balake Ballsack.
Jay Quillen. Is there
Jay
Jay Quillen
Quillen?
here?
Jake Quillen.
Balake. Blake.